Alright, what's going on, guys? Today, gonna have some just gameplay in the background. My main focus of this video is to go over my first 3 credits, as well as rating and reviewing the, in my opinion, worst 3 roller coasters of Soda City. Probably my next video will be either solo reviews or another like compact review. I'll review like just a couple coasters as I talk about them in a different video. The idea is to kind of make a series of this and basically just go over my reviews, my ratings of all my coaster credits, um, just counting one from up. So my very first credit was, of course, Silver Dollar City, um, the Grand Exposition coaster. Interestingly enough, uh, it was difficult, but I did find plenty of information about this roller coaster. There was just not a lot just sitting around on the internet as far as open information, but this ride opened sometime April 2006. It's a kiddie coaster made by Zamperla, and so it's on the wiki I found it says it stands 10 feet tall, but Silver City says it stands 20 feet, so I'll stand with them. They also say it catches a top speed of 20 miles per hour with a length of 280 feet. It seats 6 people per train, I think. No, yeah, it's a 6-card train with 2 seats across and a total riders of 12 per train. The ride only runs one train, and the layout pretty much consists of a lift hill into kind of a twisted drop. You drop to the right, and I believe it kind of goes upward into a helix that eventually kind of turns right back into the station. Um, this was a pretty simple ride. And before I get into rating it, I would like to clarify my system has updated a lot over the years, and my main system is as follows. It's a 1 through 10, or sorry, a 0 through 10 system with all the decimals in between. So, my system is as follows. 0 through 3 is either bad roller coasters or kiddie coasters. 4 through 6 is mid, solid, and good roller coasters. 7 is very good, but don't travel. 8 is great, consider traveling. 9 is great, pack your bags. And 10 is best in the world, world-class roller coasters. Now, my aim with my list is, one, to gauge the quality of a ride, but also to gauge how worth it is. Because one of the biggest things I feel like a lot of people consider when they think about going and riding roller coasters is, well, they're not always convenient. But this is a system to essentially help value how much you should be thinking about riding a roller coaster or traveling to go to one, or a roller coaster in particular. But anyways, that's besides the point. For its final score, I gave it a 1. It's a kiddie coaster. Last time I rode it, it was pretty bumpy, and it gets kind of unbearable towards that third lap, so it doesn't rank very high for me. My second credit is Fire in the Hole, the old one, the 1972 version, opened April 29th of that year. This one I genuinely could not find stats about, like, at all. Through Silver Dollar City or the RCDB, like, I could not find information about this at all. So, if you know the ride, you know it. It's kind of a dark. It feels more like a dark ride than a roller coaster, though it is a roller coaster. It has a drop and everything. I don't remember this. I was still so young when I rode this, and I don't know. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. I give it a 1.8, and I think that might just be harsh, but again, I was super young at the time. I mean, I rated this years after I wrote it. Um, so I remember it was like just a little rough, is the last thing I remember about it, and I was like, okay, I'll give it that rating. I've seen actually like videos of the new Fire in the Hole, and it looks a lot better in my opinion. So I'm definitely looking to get out again sometime and ride that, but that's not high on my list. But yeah, I give it a 1.8. It's okay. Um, It's almost, in my opinion, it's still almost not even a roller coaster. I mean, there's I feel like a lot of debate, but maybe not debate. I mean, it's on the RCDB. It has a drop. Maybe it's not much of a roller coaster, or like maybe it's not much of a dark ride more than it is a roller coaster. But I won't get into too much of that. And for the main ride of this list, or just the main ride of this video that I wanted to talk about, was Thunderation Silver Dollar City's Mine Train. Opened April 10th, 1993. So I believe this was like the second roller coaster. Yeah, second roller coaster to open the park. It was made by Aerodynamics. Seats 36 riders per train. Has a standing height of 81 feet. Speed of 48 miles per hour. And a track length of 3,022 feet and a ride duration of 2 minutes 10 seconds. This is a really interesting ride for me. Personally, I think it's easily the strongest mine train I think I've ridden out of all of them that I've been on. I think it's a really solid ride. It's weird because I think it's such a good mine train, but I also don't really think it stacks up as well to other rides in the park, if you understand where I'm coming from. Anyways, to go through the layout now, it's a pretty simple, but I feel like this is a really good layout for this roller coaster. So it kind of uses the terrain really well. It starts off with like a large right turn, like out of the station, kind of goes down a little bit into some straight track, and then it takes a left turn, and it rises up into my favorite part of this ride. Well, yeah, it's my favorite part of this ride. It's the helix. I mean, and this is a huge helix. I mean, it's insane how big this is, but I don't know. It's a great element, and you just pick. It feels like you pick up so much speed going down the helix. But anyways, you go through it and you exit the helix through a tunnel, and you go through this kind of hill that takes you into a left turn. Then you rise up into a right turn, and you hit some brakes, and then you get onto the lift hill, and then you go up to what I'm assuming is your max height of the 81 feet, which I gotta say, it may just be me, but I feel like when you're riding this thing, it definitely feels taller than that. And I think it's probably due to the way they used the terrain when they built this coaster. But anyways, you get up the lift hill, you take a left turn, and then you kind of get a little bit more straight track, but then you take this twisted drop. Pretty good size, but then you kind of rise up into a right turn, and then you kind of hit your final brakes right after that. So kind of a weird spot to end it on, just because you kind of take the drop, you get like a turn, and then that's kind of it. But you've already gone through most of the ride at this point. I mean, Thunderation is, I don't know, I feel like a really underrated ride, but again, I think that's just if the park it's in. Honestly, if this was in like almost any other park, it would kind of be a standout attraction in my opinion. But I feel like you've got some really, really good coasters elsewhere at Silver Dollar City, but hey, it is what it is. For the final score I gave it, I have it at a 3.7. So it just about makes it out the bottom. I don't have it in mid because I think Thunderation has gotten pretty rough over it. Well, not rough. I think it's got really bumpy over the years. And there are just parts of the track, like you hit it and you just feel the jolt. Like, age has not done it well, but it's been around a long time, and I still think it's an absolutely amazing layout. It just hasn't aged well nearly at all. But besides that, overall, I think it's a pretty solid ride. I think had it, I don't know, got some refurbishment or something before I rode it my most recent time, because I believe I visited Silver Dollar City this year, and for some reason, I don't know why, but I skipped out on the new Fire in the Hole. But anyways, I visited the park this year, and I got a ride on it, and it just wasn't that great. Now, to be fair, I'm pretty sure I was in the very back row. So I was on a wheel seat, it may be smoother in other seats, and I was also in the back, so again, that could always be a contributing factor. But in my opinion, I feel like if a ride is rough somewhere, well, I think particularly in Thunderation's case, it's probably going to be rough anywhere, no matter where you sit. And I could be wrong about this, like people who, get up in the front row, because the front row is just so much further ahead than the back row. If it is actually smoother up there, I mean, totally drop that in the comments. Tell me if I'm wrong about that. But I feel like it would still be pretty bumpy in the back row, and in the front row. I just don't. Yeah, I don't think it's that insane. But those are just my first 3 credits I've had as far as Silver City goes. Like I said, I will hope to make more in the future about my ongoing credits. And actually, the way I did review this was in order. So, for clarification, Grand Exposition Coaster was my first credit. My second was Fire in the Hole. My third was Thunderation. For clarification, and those are my ratings. Honestly, not much else to say about them. They are great coasters. Kind of just, I mean, not all of them are great. I think the Grand Exposition Coaster is a great kiddie ride. Like, it's something good to get started on. Fire in the Hole, I'm sure now that it's new, it's like a fan favorite just because of the old ride, and people probably liked that. And they like it. It just wasn't my thing, I guess, because I know a lot of people did like the old Fire in the Hole. That's probably their thing. So the new one's probably pretty popular. And I feel like Thunderation is just a classic ride that's always been there, and it's like really held up well. Like, even if it didn't age well, I feel like even with the public, personally, it's held up really well. And I'm gonna be honest, that's all for this video. I think in the next one I might cover 2 or 3. I think I'll probably cover 2. I'll probably do Wildfire and Powder Keg, so I'll save my last, or like not my last, but my next video for Outlaw Run and Time Traveler, so I can just finish up Silver City in one go, and then I can hit up some of my next credits in the next video. But as of now, it's kind of a short one put out there. I think that's going to be all, guys, and I'll see you in the next little review.